Preface. As it is, so shall it be. Funny thing about life, I never took the time to pay attention to the small stuff, just the big picture, as I was too busy existing and thought it was living. I was working for a cause, which was to create enough finances to support my family obligations and still be able to put aside a little much to start my own business. In my mind, I was the man and I had mucho skills. When it all got over my head, I cannot pinpoint too much wasp-like action and not enough attention paid to developing circumstance. I can only really say how it ended up, as it all hit the fan at once. Yikes. I literally saw them pearly gates open wide to receive me, as sure as God made Moses. I was suddenly in my late 40s, working 6 days per week and weighing over 400 pounds and eating like a gourmandizer. My knees, ankles, hips, lower back, shoulders, and love life was shot to pieces. Yep, everything crashed. If I paused during the day for 1 minute to catch my ragged breath, I would drop off to sleep, like a light switch was turned off. A time or two, I would just stand by the bandsaw and bow my head, pretending, as if looking at draft measurements, to cut plywood for a custom crate for a piece of office furniture, and nod off instantly to sleep. Invariably, my nosy second would ask, "Hey, boss, you still with us?" Then he would annoyingly snap his fingers in my ear to bring me back to the present, the nerve of him, and with a stupid grin on his face to boot. To him, it was a big joke, but to me it was serious business, and one of my parents' ever quotes would ring in my ear, "What is a joke to you is death to me." I would get very annoyed and try not to show it, embarrassed that I was caught napping, then played it off by saying, "Oh, I am just thinking on my next step. Go about your business, Sandy." After one too many times getting caught napping, I began retreating to my office, close and lock the door, then take a quick 5-minute power nap. Day in and day out, I would chew gum to concentrate, trying to stay alert. Not to mention, I would smoke like a chimney. I actually thought I was eating healthy. Oh boy. I was consuming a lot of healthy food. Operative word being consuming, overly so. My drive home became a nightmare, especially after having a beer or two with my coworkers at our favorite watering hole, Bronco Bob, after work. I had to cut that out, offering various excuses about having to do home projects. I would often just barely catch myself as I begin to nod off and snap to, just before running amok on the freeway, constantly falling off to sleep while driving. So much so that I had to begin driving on the side roads to go home, which made it easier to quickly pull off to the side of the road and grab a snooze in a parking lot, or put on my hazard lights and pull to the curb and grab a few winks. I was so out of it once, a cop actually tapped on my driver's window to check and see if I was dead drunk or actually dead. The cop said, "Sir, is everything okay here? For a moment there, I thought you were dead, until I heard you snoring like a freight train." Me, after rolling down my glass, "Thank you for checking, officer. It's been a very hard day at work, and I felt my eyes failing, and I pulled over for a quick snooze rather than force myself to continue driving and cause problems." The cop's face showed genuine concern, and then said to me, after I furnished my driver's license and insurance and completed a radio check on credentials, "Okay, sir, the good news is I don't smell any alcohol on your breath, and you check out, so I will let it slide this time. Better to be safe than sorry, as I have been there myself after pulling a hard shift." "Shish," he smiled. "Don't tell anyone." He then laughed out loud. I had so much gratitude for his understanding. "Officer, in the future I will take a quick snooze in my parking lot at work before heading in when I feel drowsy after work, rather than forced to drive home." Indeed, it was a 12-hour shift today. Phew. I added to sell the explanation, and he bought it, waving at me as he walked off to his car and waited until I drove off. Doctor's visits with my growing health concerns did very little to ease my now growing panic, as I was my own worst enemy, embarrassed to tell the doctor the whole truth and nothing but the truth. The loss of a sex drive was more shameful than I wanted to admit or explain. During the summer months, my health conditions were not very bad because I would walk most evenings and do yard work after, which masked the underlying health issues. But my nemesis period was winter and early spring. My very worst always came close to mid-spring. I could never find any gloves good enough to shield my fingers from the numbing cold, and breathing in the cold air through my mouth at times would cause my front teeth to ache as well. So I just did not bother to walk at all during the cold months. And the gym was so crowded during those months, I could never get to the treadmill, so I simply stayed away. But being a man too clever for my own good, I would begin going to the gym as people went outdoors late spring rather than use the gym, and I also begin evening walks once more, appreciating the warmer weather. I would even cut back on my food and pastry intake, which just masked the underlying symptoms when I complained, "Poor me," to the doctor, and the doctor ran tests. The results would come back, and she would then look at me in that tone of voice that said, "Another one crying wolf. Seeking some knockout pain meds are we?" I was in essence tricking the doctor to my own detriment. Year after year, my various tests for my annual physical would be either borderline or slightly elevated, and the doctor would prescribe blood pressure and cholesterol meds. As for my daily donut or maple bar binge, off Joyce's gut truck, a morning ritual, out in the parking lot at work, I did not stop. I got clever at that too. I would simply go for a walk after I ate and smoke a cigarette or two. But I literally could feel my body dying. How do I stop standing in my own way? Eventually, my immune system was so shot, I was having regular bouts with pneumonia and bronchitis. It was so bad, I was having breathing problems, similar to someone having asthma attacks. I often could not sleep on the bed. Laying down would upset my demons, causing me to wake up choking or gasping for air. I would then be forced to get up and sleep in the recliner, in a sitting straight upright position. It was the only relief from gagging and coughing my lungs out. I could then sleep the 2 to 3 hours I was barely getting each night. Simply put, I was a mess for sure. Based on the constant pain and feelings, I would not live to see 50. I felt it in my heart of hearts. But did I stop? No, I doubled down. After all, more food is healthy to build up my stamina, right?